Hello and thanks for joining us on yet another exciting episode of Woman Thou Art. I'm your host, Juliet Mtele. Now on this program, we bring to you various women who share real life experiences on different issues. And so today in the studio, we have Mpunga Chipepo Simkwai, who is a career woman and of course the founder of Our Nachi magazine. Welcome to the program, Mpunga.
Thank you so much, Juliet. It's such a joy to be on your lovely show this day, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Great. Now, as alluded to earlier, you're the founder of Our Nachi magazine. Just tell us about it.
So, Our Nachi magazine, pronounced as Our Nachi in Namwanga, is a Namwanga word which simply means women. It speaks to the strength of a woman, it speaks to the determination of a woman, it speaks to the resilience of a woman. So in a nutshell, Our Nachi is Zambia's women's lifestyle magazine that is here to amplify the voices of young girls and women in different spaces. We have been in existence for the past 2 years. We celebrated our second anniversary earlier in the month. And I think we've continued to grow in leaps and bounds, considering the fact that we are here to give women the platform to share their stories, their authentic stories, their real life stories, to remind a woman somewhere to see another woman making it and also be encouraged that they too can be.
Great. At what point did you feel I need to come up with this magazine? Really, where did you get the motivation from?
So for a start, Juliet, I think I started my career or media journey right here at Zanis.
Great.
I should start from there. Then it was called the Zambia Information Services. So I have quite vast experience in media and communications. So I've always known that at some point in my life, I would be creating platforms for women, and I will explain why I say so. So I lost my father at a time that I was a teenager. And at that time, I experienced firsthand the challenges that women, for instance, that become widowed or women that face different challenges go through in terms of, imagine the breadwinner is no more and they have to still fend for the children. They have to make sure the children go to school. Those are real challenges. But what was very striking was the fact that you will not hear the stories of women like that. You will have probably a younger widow, going through those challenges and probably think that's the end of the world. But because they've not heard another widow sharing their story about how they've been able to navigate the challenges of life, about how they've been able to rise from the ashes, until they have that opportunity, that widow probably die due to depression or just give up on life. So the idea of Our Nachi magazine literally came out of a conversation that I had with my mentor, one of my mentors, and that's Mrs. Mizinga Melo. And we're talking about issues of legacy, issues of what will life be after retirement, or because we like to plan for retirement when it has come, but sometimes think of retirement earlier. What would you like to do when you're no longer having to go to work at 8? So from an afternoon tea conversation, she hinted to the fact that you need to start doing your own thing. Don't you ever think of doing a magazine? Because where I work, I'm editor-in-chief for our quarterly newsletter. And they said, look, that is really work, but don't you ever think of creating such a platform? And believe it or not, I had done media before. I had done TV, I had done radio. At no point did I think I would ever do a magazine. So the whole thought of a magazine was a completely new challenge for me. So from that conversation that we had, that sparked the interest, because that's why for me I value mentors. I value mentorship, because a mentor will see what is in you that probably you would not be able to activate until somebody tells you, have you ever thought about doing this? So while I was already doing other things, I was running a TV show, I was doing so many other things in this other genre of media. At no point did I think of a magazine. So after we had that conversation with her, she said, no, just think about it. You don't have to do it, but just think about it. It could be something that you could do. It would be something that is your own, and you can call it whatever. Define what you would do with that too. And I was grateful for that, and I forgot about it. But a week later, she called me and said, hello, so how are we doing on our magazine? I was like, were you serious about the magazine? She says, yes, I strongly believe that you can do that. And I started thinking about the magazine. Okay, what will it be called? I thought of all the names. I consulted a number of people. But one thing that was very clear that I believe was the birth of this was the voice of women and young girls. And the more I thought about it, the more I consulted, the more I talked to different people in terms of the names, it was very clear from the onset for me. I said, whatever we call this, it should speak to women and girls issues. So like they say, the rest is history. Mrs. Melu would literally check on me every other week. So where are we going? How far have we gone with this? What's the name of the magazine and things like that? And trust me, I dealt with self-doubt. I doubted myself. I said, me owning a magazine, that's something I would never do. I mean, you can wake me up any day to do TV or radio, I will jump onto it. But magazine, I honestly felt that was not something I could do. But the more I thought about it, the more the passion was just being ignited. The more I would wake up at night at 3 a.m. and I'm just thinking, how would this magazine look like? What sort of women are we going to be profiling? You might be interested to know that in the magazine we cover different stories. We cover business, but our main story that is always in our edition is our relentless woman. And this is an ordinary woman. We'll pick a marketeer sharing her story. We'll pick a widow. We'll pick a woman who sells munkoyo in Ngombe or Garden and share their stories, because those are not stories you pick in a magazine or on certain platforms. But looking back now, I honestly thank God for mentors. I thank God for people that see in us what we might not see at a particular time. And they say the rest is history. If you ask me if there was anything I would change over the last 2 years, I'll probably change a lot of other things, but not about our Nachi. Because it is the joy of seeing women's life being impacted. It is the joy of seeing a girl being inspired to say, if that woman can do it, then even I can do it. So in a nutshell, that's the story of our Nachi. If you would ask me probably a couple of years, if I knew that by now our Nachi would be where it is, I would probably say no. But what I would say is, but God. Wow. God himself just works in ways that, you can't explain. At the time that I stepped into it, today I posted something on my status. I said, the very thing that you fear to do is the very thing that will lead you to your breakthrough.
Oh my goodness.
But most times, because we are scared, I can't express the joy and gratitude that I have to God for the opportunity that I've had, the women that I've been connected to, simply by saying yes to God and stepping, even in times when I was afraid, even in times when I doubted myself, even during times when people that you thought would support you disappoint you. But I strongly believe that in every season of our lives, God raises people. When you say yes, God, your yes opens another yes and another yes and another yes. I've honestly seen the hand of God. We are growing, like I said, in leaps and bounds. We are now in the ShopRite stores, almost all the ShopRite stores in Lusaka. We are getting requests to go to other parts of the town, but we said we want our growth to be slow and steady. We want God to take us step by step and experience and enjoy every moment. We are grateful to the readers, primarily, that have bought a copy and been inspired as well. So we are here to just really amplify women's voices, to remind women, like I always say, that they too can be.
Mbunga, in your journey, I think there's a part where you've mentioned that you never thought at one point that you'd own Our Nachi magazine. And you also talked about the part where the mentorship comes in.
Yeah.
Would you say it's very important for every and each person to have a mentor?
Juliet, I can never overemphasize the need of a mentor. I say so because and part of my principle now is to be that mentor to the younger girls that I should have had when I was younger. Mentorship, some people say, no, it's an exaggerated thing. I don't think so. If I didn't have a mentor that was able to speak that word at that time, I probably would not have it. And that's me speaking. I mean, God always works in his own unique ways. But when you bring to life the mentor, a mentor is someone who's gone ahead of you. A mentor is someone who tells you, Juliet, there's a pothole there. So to avoid that pothole, turn left. Why would you want to go and hit a pothole when somebody has already told you there's a pothole here, you avoid it? So for me, I can't overemphasize the need for mentors for young girls, for women, even older women. I honestly think there's never a point when you can say it's too late to have a mentor. And mentors are different. I have mentors who are my peer mentors because we're in the same age group. We're probably dealing with the same issues in terms of the corporate space. I have mentors that I speak to on issues about marriage. I have mentors that I speak to on issues of my business, like those who've gone ahead. So different mentors will speak to your life, to different facets of your life. So never underestimate the role of a mentor. It has to be obviously somebody who knows you personally as much as possible, and then somebody who has your interest at heart, somebody who wants to see you grow, somebody who can tell you, Juliet, do you know that you are good at this? Because sometimes you don't even realize you're good at it. I mean, it had to take her, and like I said, I've been doing this for quite a while, the media space. But in terms of the writing, this is someone who will tell you when you send a piece of writing, like, oh, you really write well. And sometimes you don't think about it. But when you begin to hear it from somebody you respect, somebody you hold in high regard, it really changes the dynamics. So my appeal really is for every woman to find a mentor, because you'll be amazed the trouble you will save yourself from, the stress you will save yourself from when you have the right mentor. And then now, in the face of social media, there are people that can mentor you from a distance. There are people that I might not have met that follow me on my social media platforms and see what I post, and they're being encouraged and they're being mentored. That also is a form of mentorship, because also what you need to realize, for someone to be a mentor, how many people want to be mentored by them? How many people are requesting, oh, please, can you mentor me? So while the direct mentoring might not happen, follow them on the social media platform. Instead of you chatting the whole day with your friend, talking about how that one was dressed or how that whatever happened, spend time. Go to their social media platforms, see what they have posted, learn from them. Go to their YouTube channels, see what they're teaching. Because I strongly believe that in as much as there's a downside to social media, there's a lot that we can learn and leverage out of it, especially as young girls and women.
We are still talking about mentorship and, of course, impacting other lives. As the founder of Our Nachi, is there anything that you're doing to impact the young girls, to impact other women?
So a lot that we're doing, I do a lot of mentorship myself, so I do not speak from without. I do a lot of mentorship. I have a lot of people that reach out to me and, would like to be mentored. As and when I can, I would have a session with them, keep checking on them, how are we doing on those targets that we set that you promised to do. So as Our Nachi, like we're saying, we're still in our infancy, we're in our second year now, but there are a lot of things that we plan to do. One of the key things is to come up with what we'll be calling the Our Nachi Foundation. Now, under the Our Nachi Foundation, we are already involved in menstrual hygiene management. As you may be aware, on our first anniversary, which was last year, we donated reusable pads and panties to over 1,000 girls in Chikankata. Wow. So we partnered with different corporates that were able to work with us. Why did we pick up particularly menstrual hygiene management? Because imagine not going to school for 3 to 5 days every month because you don't have sanitary wear. We don't believe in the use of single-use pads because we use it once and then you have to discard it. But they're reusable. You can use them for a minimum of 3 years to 5 years. So as Our Nachi, our focus is on purchasing reusable pads and panties that we're donating to girls. We made our first donation to Chikankata, and I've been asked why Chikankata. I was interestingly born in Chikankata because my grandparents were missionaries in there. So obviously for my mom, we used to live in Livingston then. When it was time for her to deliver, she was expected to go to Chikankata Mission Hospital. So we made our first donation there. We are still working towards that in May as part of our menstrual hygiene day. We are making a donation to over 5,000 girls on the Copper Belt. So for us, that is the sort of impact would like to have, impact that is long term, because we know that when we donate to those girls for the next 3 years, they're not thinking of buying a key item like sanitary pads, which directly impact on their education, directly impact on their academic performance. Because if you are constantly missing school every month, the school doesn't wait for you to finish your periods. They will continue. So you find that when that aspect is not taken care of, most of the girls will struggle in terms of their performance in school. So that is one key area that I can pinpoint. And then also, just like I mentioned, on a personal level, I'm part of the When Females Lead Mentors. I've been part of that program since inception, and really contributing and impacting the lives of women in whichever way that I possibly can.
Great. Now we know that in a journey of life, in every person's life, there's always a challenge. There's that one big challenge as you were, as you were heading towards to become, to achieve that success story. What is that one challenge that you went through, and how did you overcome it?
I had several. I will not lie that I had one.
Wow.
I had several. And some of them, I'm still dealing with them now, and I'll explain why so. One of the key challenges that I faced was self-doubt. And trust me, if you do your research, you will find the majority of us women struggle with self-doubt. The majority of us women struggle with imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome is that thing that tells you, Juliet, you don't deserve to be interviewing on Zani's channel. Why should you be here? That constant question of telling yourself, do you deserve to be here? That thing of telling yourself, what if this fails? Okay? And I had that thought of all the challenges I had. I think that was the most pronounced one. The self-doubt, the aspect of what if this fails? What will people think? Now, it is that same fear that cripples you, that just tells you, what, this might fail. Don't even think about doing it. Just stop it altogether. I dealt with the self-doubt. And my way of navigating it, I told God, I said, God, this is my yes. I don't know how it's going to look like. I don't know how it's going to unfold, but I choose to step in the water and trust that you who has started this work will be able to see me through. And the rest, like they say, is history. I stepped in and trusted God, and I've seen God at work. So for me, that is why when I see a woman struggling with self-doubt, when I see someone saying, what if this fails? I always tell them, what if this succeeds?
Wow.
Because most times I think, oh my God, what if this fails? In this, the same energy, the same thought process you put to you thinking this might fail, think of it on the other side, flip it. What if this succeeds?
Great. We take a short break. Stay tuned.
Woman Thou Art is a program that offers counsel to the female folk, sharing real-life experiences and providing guidance to the women and young girls on necessary steps and conducts that will help shape and nurture a sober society. Watch Woman Thou Art on Zenith TV every Wednesday at 18:30 hours on the Topster channel, channel 6 DTT, and channel 458 DTH.
In case you've just joined us, in the studio today we have Mpunga Chipepo-Simkwae, who is a career woman and of course the founder of Awanachi magazine. Now Mpunga, away from the Awanachi magazine, I want to understand that you are a public relations and communications manager at the National Water Supply and Sanitation Council. Just tell us about this.
Okay, so like I mentioned, I started my media journey from Zambia Information Services. It was called ZIS then. I moved on to Zamcom, where I was head of radio department. Thereafter, I moved on to ZNBC, where I was public relations officer. And then I felt I had been in the media space for quite a while, so I wanted to just get into a different sector that would sort of give me a fresh perspective to just public relations and communications. And that's how I landed in the National Water Supply and Sanitation Council, where I head the Public Relations and Communications Department, and then also I am the spokesperson there. So an interesting journey. I sort of like wear two hats. I wear the Awanachi hat. I wear the NWASCO hat as well. But the NWASCO hat is really a big one, because that is my job. That is my 8 to 17 job. That is where I put in my all to make sure that at the end of the day, NWASCO is known, what we do as a regulator of water supply and sanitation services. I've been there for quite a while now, in the same department. So the Awanachi bit is what I do in my free time, but NWASCO is really my full time. A journey that I was very purposeful in terms of the time that I felt I had been in the media space and just needed to sort of experience other things. So I've been in the water sector for quite a while now. A very interesting sector, very different from the media, but a sector that is at the core of every country's development, whether social or economic development. You cannot talk about water and sanitation in any space and make any progress. So the role that water and sanitation play in any economy is very key. And I'm grateful to God for the opportunity to still serve, even in that company, in that regulatory body. A lot of work that we do. We regulate 11 water utilities that are dotted around the country, and of course 5 private schemes that provide water and sanitation services to their employees as fringe benefits. So it's been quite an interesting journey. I've learnt a lot about the sector. A bit hard when I joined in, because I was coming from a purely media background, having done ZIS, Zanis now, having done Zamcom, and then having done ZNBC. The dynamics were very different. Then you get into a sector that is quite technical, I must say, but I'm happy that over the years, through mentorship, through coaching, I'm in a space where I'm very comfortable in the sector. I understand the issues that the sector deals with.
So how do you balance the two? Awanachi founder, Awanachi magazine, and being that the public relations communications lecturer.
I'm one of the people that doesn't believe in balance. I'll explain. So there's this question that I'm usually asked: how do you balance work, life, and family life? There's no balance. It's about being intentional. If I am in NWASCO, which is 8 to 17, I am in NWASCO. I give NWASCO my 200%. And that's why you see I will not have any engagements during the week between 8 and 17, because that is NWASCO time. Any time out of that, then I focus on the Awanachi side. However, I strongly believe that for whichever spaces that we are in, so for me, if I'm in NWASCO, like I'm saying, it's 200%. If I'm in Awanachi, it's 200%. But it is to know in which moment am I in right now where I need to give my 200%. The same applies at the family level. You'll be told you're a career woman, you're running a business, you have a family to take care of. How do you do that? It's the same principle for me that applies. It's not so much of balance. It's about being present in whichever of those spheres you are at a particular time. So when I knock off from work and I'm home, I'm a wife, I'm a mother. So when I'm at home, I'm a wife and a mother, I can't spend 3 hours, I'm on WhatsApp. I'm chatting with my friends, because that time I'm in the home, my husband needs me, my children need me. So that is what I focus on. When I'm done, I'm doing NWASCO work, it is NWASCO time. So NWASCO also needs to get its full attention in that order.
Are you saying that you are living the dream life that you desired?
To a certain extent, yes. Reason being that I think there is no greater joy that comes from a place of finding purpose. There are people who go out looking for influence, looking for power. For me, that is not the goal. For me, it is what would God want of me to do in the time that I'm on earth, that I'm healthy, that I'm alive, and I'm well. So it is to walk in my purpose. As I walk in my purpose that God has ordained, then people begin to see what God is doing in and through my life and begin to get ministered to. So I would say I'm grateful for the opportunity of the things that I've been able to do. There's a lot more that I know that I'm yet to do. But for what I've been able to do and what I'm seeing God doing, I'm honestly grateful. Grateful for God's providence and for God's grace.
Back to Awanachi magazine, what does the future look like?
So the future looks very good. Our goal is to be Zambia's most sought after women's magazine.
Wow.
Go beyond Zambia, go to Africa, go
Wow.
to world over. Would like to get to a place when people think our Nachi magazine, they think of women's issues, they're thinking of our Nachi. Thinking of a space that's been able to create platforms for them, they're thinking about our Nachi. The growth that we've experienced in the past 2 years has really been, by the grace of God, very phenomenal, because print industry is a whole different ball game, but we have honestly seen the hand of God at work. So we know that the future is bright. We continue to press on, but even as we press on, we always say we are faith people. Will continue to trust God. Like we say, for us, we believe in stepping into the water and trusting God that we will walk on the water.
Mpunga, right now there are young people, there are young girls, the women listening to you, and they would love to walk your dream. They would love to walk your path. What advice do you have for them?
So honestly, my appeal to a young girl that's watching me is to remind you that your dreams are valid. Whatever dreams you may have, write them down. Seek the right mentors. Pray about them. And trust me, the challenges will be there. The challenges that will make you doubt and say, God, did I hear from you? But always remember that God is faithful. Whatever he has started to do, he will bring it to completion. So your dreams are valid. I am here rooting for you. I am here cheering you on. But remember, like I always say, growth and comfort do not sit on the same table. For you to grow, you have to step out of your comfort zone. God bless you.
Thank you. Any concluding remarks?
Thank
I know
you.
you have spoken.
Just to say thank you, Juliet, for the opportunity. This
Great.
felt like coming back home.
Wow.
Like I mentioned, I was at Zanis before it was what it is now. But coming back here today and seeing the amazing work that has been done, the change, it looks beautiful. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
And thank you so much, Mpunga, also for that encouraging data, that encouraging information, not just for the viewers, but even for me. And
Nice
I'm equally encouraged.
Thank you so much.
Well, viewers, we've come to the end of Woman Thou Art. And in the studio, we were talking to Mpunga Chipepo Simkwai, who is a career woman and also a founder of the magazine Our Nachi. Join us next time on another exciting episode of Woman Thou Art. My name is Juliet Mtele, saying bye-bye and God bless.